Hello, welcome to TisTalk.
This is a podcast coming from Tisbury, Wiltshire and surrounding villages. I'm Julianne Murphy.
And I'm Mary Myers. This is the week beginning Monday the 2nd of December. Hello, Julianne.
Hello, Mary. I think you've got lots of things you want to tell me.
Oh, well, it was just a funny thing. And it's a shout out to lovely Detchen, who is staying with us, who's my son's girlfriend's mother.
Okay.
She came to visit us all the way from New York via India. And she's a number one TisTalk fan. It's fantastic. And you know what she wanted to see around Tisbury? She wanted to see Messams and the castle and things like that. And then she said, "Can I see the Nadder Centre?" So we went to the Nadder Centre because she'd heard all about it on TisTalk. She went, "Oh, it's big." And anyway, right. It was lovely. And she knew all the names. Well, she obviously knew us too. And when I mentioned, say, Steve Tonkin, oh, yes, fantastic about the stars. And,
oh, great.
Yeah, so we have we got loyal listener in New York.
In New York. Brilliant. Yeah.
And, of course, it's our last TisTalk.
For this year.
But we'll be back in the new year with lots more interesting content.
Yeah, of course. Oh, well, let's talk about the content.
Yes. Okay, well, we're going to have a few new elements. We've already started with the dark skies with Steve Tonkin, but we're going to carry on with that. He's going to talk about what to look for in the night sky this month, then January, February and March.
Okay.
And he's so good. He talks all about the mythology and also makes it easy to understand what you're looking at. And we're also going to have a new series from Dr. Lindsay Kinlin from Fonthill Surgery. So she's going to give some health tips. And we're going to have new environmental programs. A little bit more about nature and conservation and the environment and climate change.
Totally worthwhile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Do you want to tell listeners about where you will be broadcasting from in the new year, Mary?
Yes, well, I'm going to be in France.
You're migrating.
I'm doing
again.
my annual migration, like a swallow. So I'm going over to France, and I'll be in Pau, which is in the southwest, in the Pyrenees, with Simon, my husband, and we'll be...
Yeah, chatting across the airways while you're in France.
Yes.
Okay.
So, Julianne, will you tell us what we've got on this week?
Well, we're kicking off with two new chaps have taken over the Riverbarn, and Kate Gann went down to talk to them. That's followed by the Yew Tree, the Plantagenets this week with Liz Coyle-Camp. That's followed by Steve Tonkin and Starry Nights.
Yes.
And Looking Up at the Skies, followed by...
Yes, talking to Tom Denny, the artist for the east window in the church, just enjoying seeing the window revealed for the first time.
Yes. And that's followed by Jerry Mason talking about the upcoming Tis the Season.
Yeah, so he's followed by Alan Marion Davis, just reminding us about the Nadder Community Energy stall at Tis the Season.
And then it's Lau Pointer with What's Ons, and that's it for this year.
Yeah, that'll be the end. But we'll see everybody next year.
Yes.
Of course, with more Yew Tree as well. You've got to get writing, Julianne.
More Yew Tree coming up.
Yeah. We start with Liam and David at the Riverbarn talking to Kate Gann.
You may well have noticed that a new cafe has opened up on the Fonthill estate. This week I went along for a chat with Liam and David, the new owners of the Riverbarn Cafe. I started by asking how all this came about and why they chose Fonthill Bishop for this new venture.
Yeah, so we come from South Wales. We were living in the Nadder Valleys before this. We were looking for places to lease, basically. We looked all over the UK and we came here on my birthday, and it just felt the right place. We had a list of what we wanted and what we needed, and this ticked in all the wants, all the needs. And the added bonus that we found here is actually been the community. We didn't know that this would be here, the actual community, and for us that has been the best part, isn't it?
Definitely.
We've got regulars already. We've been 6 weeks, and we really have got regulars we see 2, 3, 4 times a week. And that's been the best part.
The support from the estate as well. Not just
they've been great, so we've really enjoyed that.
We expected to be quite quiet, to be honest. That's what people were gearing us up for. They said next couple of months it's going to be quiet, so don't take that as what the next year is going to be. But it's been absolutely amazing. The support we've had from everyone, it's just been phenomenal.
To the point we've got staff now.
We've got staff now, which is great, because it was just the two of us to begin with, and the dog. But it's been great. Coming from a completely different background as well. We were both civil servants, so desk jobs. Coming into this, we had a dream, to be honest, that we would have loved to have done maybe in Spain. But it's been fantastic, hasn't it? I mean, Wiltshire is gorgeous anyway.
We love it,
I've got a history from when I was a child. My nan used to live in Lakecock. So I know northern Wiltshire, and I used to spend summers, all pretty much 3-4 weeks of the summer, with my nan, who was a dairy farmer. Countryside was gorgeous there, but coming here, it's absolutely stunning.
And in terms of future plans, you've got some lovely Christmas events coming up.
Yeah, so we have Friday the 13th of December. That's going to be our Christmas or get together for the community to come in. We're going to have carols, sing along with that, and there'll be a few surprises chucked in. Might have a visitor come in on that day. For some children. And again, we were serving food for that as well. Mince pies and mulled wine. And then finally, be Saturday the 14th of December, 7 p.m. And that's going to be our tapas evening. Like our Greek one, just be a Spanish one. But it's Feliz Navidad, Christmas. So it'll be a 3-course tapas menu, and that's £25 per person.
And then open right up to Christmas, I guess.
Yeah. We're going to be doing Christmas Eve and Boxing Day. We're going to be open. We like the walkers.
Yeah, the walkers.
Loads of walkers. And, that's something we would do at Christmas, normally ourselves, walks and stuff. So
get out the house.
Yeah.
Coffee shop will be open with cakes and coffees and hot chocolate. And
people might be off their food by then.
Yeah, maybe. I know, yeah.
And then into next year, what plans do you have for next year?
So obviously we're getting works outside at the moment for sort of the outdoor area underneath the tent, and we're investing in that, aren't we? So that's going to be completely enclosed, so it's a multi-use sort of space that we can use in there. So we're just going to keep evolving, aren't we, and seeing what the community wants. We're available for private events if people want to book for some private dinner parties or big bashes. We can do all that sort of thing. And obviously we have got the accommodation as well. So, we are looking to potentially do some wellness here as well, aren't we?
Yeah.
We really would like to get log burner barrel sauna, that sort of thing. We'd really love that, wouldn't we? And a hot tub and a little cold plunge with that as well.
Bit of a wellness area.
Yeah. But as well, we're finding all the local connections in terms of suppliers. I made a stew today, and that was locally just from Tisbury, from a local farm there. So I knew the age of the cow, and some of this, and it's something that's really cool that we're really liking.
Yeah, our eggs as well are supplied by a local
business as well. Yeah, we sell local produce again with alcohol as well. So we use Stone Daisy, which is literally just
on the Fonthill estate.
That's literally brewed there, and they've been fantastic. And they're just opening the distillery just across the road from us as well. So that's another thing that we'll be able to work with them when they start producing all their spirits as well. It's just really good that we're just all
collaborative.
Yeah.
Everyone's working together, and we really like that.
And you're very active, I see, on Facebook and Instagram. You put your reels on there about what's coming up and what you've done and things like that.
Well, our website as well, I think we get quite a few hits on there, but also we've got signage outside as well, so we do update that.
Website is www.riverbarnfonthillbishop.co.uk, so it's quite easy to remember because we are the Riverbarn and this is Fonthill Bishop. I think to finish, maybe we'd like to thank everyone for their support so far. It's kind of been a little bit overwhelming, if I'm honest. It's been really, really unexpected, and everyone's just been amazing. Really fantastic.
Everyone has been fantastic.
And that was David and Liam at the Riverbarn in Fonthill Bishop.
You're listening to TisTalk from Tisbury in Wiltshire and the Nadder Valley.
And coming up next, a comedic journey through time as this Coyle-Camp brings the Tisbury ancient yew tree to life. This week, the Plantagenets.
I do believe I have already mentioned in this fascinating account of my life that people of old broke off bits of me and put them into coffins and graves, and this symbolised everlasting life. Get it? Like me, evergreen? Oh, God, can't keep up. And that continued even into this intensely Christian period, what humans call the medieval period. Although this practice had its roots, another pun, right back in the pagan era, and even though many, many years had passed since I was considered central to Tisbury life, I believe I still played, if I say so myself, a very important part in the everyday life and death of your average Tisburger. And what with the plagues and whatnot, I'm talking about a lot of death. So, little surprise, then I continued to keep a watchful eye on the comings and goings of all these good folk of Tisbury. We were now entering the Middle Ages, fun for some and grim for many. Historians like to say the Norman period ended with the accession to the throne of Henry II in 1154, and that this marked the beginning of the Plantagenet dynasty. Well, at the time, it did not feel that clear-cut. I mean, I didn't see the sun rise one morning and think, the Normans, oh yes, oh, they're just so over. For instance, Norman enthusiasm for a sturdy building continued apace. Here, right beside me, between 1180 and 1200, the main part of St. John the Baptist Church was built in the form of a cross, a design typical of the time. Another church, a tad larger, I believe, was soon to be started in a place called Salisbury, but I couldn't have given a twig about that. All these ruling class types were ancestrally Norman. So, even if you wanted to feel modern and Plantagenet, you only had to look up and see a bunch of crusaders galloping by on their way to the Holy Land, or more likely, wounded crusaders on their way to the commandery in Anstey, Wiltshire's first hospital. Did you know that? It still felt very Norman. We all felt very important when in 1246 King Henry III's half-brother became the parson in Tisbury. His name was Aymer de Marcher, and he departed not long after for a higher pay grade when he became the Bishop of Winchester. But for a while there, I would tremble just a little when he'd wander past. Ooh, as a tribute, you understand. I have to say, on reflection, it was quite a busy go-getting time here. By mid-13th century, the Tisbury Tithe Barn was built, and it was where Tisbury folk paid their taxes in goods and produce. The abbey in Shaftesbury, which was run by a series of abbesses, held sway over nearly everything around here, right up until the Reformation, taking those taxes for the good of the church. Shaftesbury was recognised as one of the wealthiest and most powerful nunneries in the whole of England. You didn't mess with those girls, I can tell you that. The 1300s saw a few happenings that nobody pretended to enjoy, like the Black Death, oh dear, and the poll tax of 1377, which was imposed on at least 281 good residents of Tisbury. Still, progress was underway with the building of Gaston Manor on the High Street, and in 1392 the estate of Wardour was sold to Lord John Lovell by King Richard II, and Lord John then started to build a castle. Utterly infuriating for me, Tisbury's market was held up at the top of the High Street, completely out of my line of sight. Part of the cross that now stands quite close to me here in the churchyard originally stood where the market was held. That was where villagers would air their grievances, itinerant friars would preach their sermons, and public notices were given by the town crier. But did anyone ever think to come down and tell me, the ancient venerated Yew, about the notices and the grievances? Not on your Nelly. All those locals with names like the Rixons, the Turners, the Greens, and the Levers saw no point in keeping me in the loop. At this point, Tisbury had everything a thriving village needed, like a blacksmith's, wheelwright's, a candle maker, a butcher, a baker, and an apothecary, which was the early branch of Brute's. No, it wasn't really. And although there was word of a peasants' revolt in 1381, somehow Tisbury peasantry carried on regardless, and I carried on watching over them. The Yew Tree Chronicles.
And in the new year, we'll welcome back Liz Coyle-Camp and the Yew Tree and the upheaval of the Reformation.
This is TisTalk from Tisbury, Wiltshire.
Next, the wonders of the night sky with Steve Tonkin from the Cranbourne Chase Dark Sky Reserve.
If we walk out of the Nadder Centre and just sort of go down to the playing field, if we're looking downhill, that's about southish. So we want to look a little bit to the left of that, mid-evening, and you'll see quite high in the sky the brightest thing you see, which is the planet Jupiter. And it's particularly bright at the moment because it's what astronomers call its near opposition.
Oh, what's that?
Opposition is when you've got the sun one side, Earth, and then the planet you're looking at that's at opposition exactly opposite the sun.
I see.
So it's reflecting sunlight exactly back at us.
Of course, because it doesn't have its own light.
No, it doesn't. No, that's the difference between stars and planets. Planets only shine by reflected starlight.
Right.
And it's a lovely object. And if you've got binoculars or a telescope, just take a look at it and you should be able to spot, certainly with binoculars, even the 4 moons that Galileo saw that got him thinking about how the solar system might actually work. And if you've got a telescope, of course, you'll see markings on the planet as well. It's particularly good at the moment, so do have a look for that. And then from there, we can start using that as a signpost to other places. So if you hold your hand out in front of you and you go a full handspan higher than Jupiter, you get to another brightish star. It's called Capella. And then we go the same distance up to that, from that, and you'll see there's a little cluster of stars. Absolutely stunning in binoculars, but it's called the Alpha Persei moving cluster.
Moving?
Moving, yeah.
Yes, what does that mean?
Well, it's Alpha Persei is because the name of one of the official names of one of the stars in it. A cluster is obviously a cluster of stars, and they are moving through space together. So that whole cluster of stars is moving through space together, but you'd be hard-pressed to even notice it during an entire human lifetime. It's very, very slow.
Okay.
But most star clusters are just moving together.
Although it seems slow to us, are they moving very, very fast?
Oh, yes. Very, very fast indeed. You're talking about thousands of kilometres an hour.
Amazing. And so then what else?
Well, we can go up again, and you'll see a very distinctive, slightly on its side, W of 5 stars. And that's Queen Cassiopeia, the mother of Andromeda, the one who boasted that her daughter was more beautiful than all the nymphs sacred to Poseidon. That precipitated a whole load of unfortunate happenings, which eventually ended in her being rescued by Perseus, of course, where we've just come from, Persei moving cluster, and rescued from the sea monster on the horse Pegasus, which is a square near there. Now, we can find Andromeda quite easily. But before we do that, just scan around Cassiopeia if you've got binoculars. There's so many star clusters around there. You won't have problems finding star clusters. You'll have problems identifying them. There's so many of them.
And what are star clusters exactly?
They are, well, these ones are just little clusters of fairly young stars, so they shine quite bright white. And they're recently formed in astronomical terms, so we're talking about a few million years or maybe longer. And because they form together out of the same cloud of dust and gas, they sort of stick together and only gradually disperse. And there's just lots of them around there. And the reason they're around there is because that's actually part of the Milky Way. So there's more stars in the Milky Way than there are outside it. So there's more star clusters in the Milky Way than there are outside it, at least this kind of cluster.
All right.
Yeah.
So the Cassiopeia has these sort of, well, it looks like a W. You could also say it looks like arrows.
You could say it looks like a couple of arrowheads together.
Yes.
And the sharper arrowhead, which is the right-hand one we're looking at the moment, if you take that one and go a handspan down in the direction it's pointing, is a very yellowish star, which is called Merak. And the interesting thing about that, we just go now, not a handspan, just 2 finger widths up. There's another little star, and that is Mu Cassiopeia. And then the same distance up again, and we get to the most distant thing you'll ever see with your naked eye, and that is the Andromeda Galaxy.
So it's the most distant, even compared to the other stars that we can see?
Oh, much more distant. Light from the other stars takes, sort of approximately maximum 80,000 years to get here, which sounds like a lot. Light from the Andromeda Galaxy takes 2.5 million years to get here. It's that much further.
So we can't see anything further away than that galaxy. So all the stars we see in the night sky are in our own galaxy.
They're in our own galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, and everything else. With Andromeda, if you're somewhere really, really dark and you've got really good eyesight, there are another couple of slightly further galaxies you can see. But for most people, the Andromeda Galaxy is the most distant thing they'll ever see without telescope or binoculars or anything like that.
Right.
So just think about that. If they were looking back at Earth now from someone there and they could see what was going on, we wouldn't even have evolved to the state of being Australopithecus. We are, we are definitely, in our very early stages of human evolution there. So, the distances in astronomy are just mind-boggling. It's almost impossible to get your head around what it actually means.
No, I hadn't realised that we couldn't see anything beyond our own galaxy up to today.
Well, no. Most of apart from that, everything else we see is within our own galaxy.
Amazing.
All the stars, all the star clusters, all the other fuzzy blobs, which are things I particularly like. There's various kinds of fuzzy blobs, and of course, because they're fuzzy, they're very easy to get wiped out by light pollution, which is one of the reasons being in this International Dark Sky Reserve is great, because much less light pollution, really trying to keep it down. And then I can see more of the things I like. And of course, if you come to one of our stargazing evenings, next one's not for a while, I'm afraid, you'll be able to see those as well. We'll show you what they are. So with some which are the remnants of dying stars, some are bits where stars are being born, some are just, we're not quite sure what they are really, but or there might just be groups of stars that look misty to the naked eye, but then you magnify them and you see that, that's actually stars. It's not fuzzy.
All right. Oh, that's great. That's a great guide for December. Let's hope that there are clear skies.
Yes, indeed. So, also, let's just wish everybody a happy Christmas, if that is what you celebrate at this time of year. And Star of Bethlehem, well, you make up your own mind about that. Just choose a nice bright one and enjoy it at Christmas time.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
TisTalk, a podcast from Tisbury on tistalk.buzzsprout.com.
Now, I had the extraordinary privilege of going up the scaffolding inside St John's Church last week and having the first look, along with the artist himself, at the new east window. And our report starts with me clambering up the scaffolding with Tom Denny.
Yes, it is extraordinary to see the 5 lancets, these 5 great sections of the window, as a whole.
Yeah.
I've never been able to do that during this long period of working on it. So every square inch has been deeply considered and worked on over a long time.
Yes.
And now at last, here it is as a whole. And, obviously from the scaffolding, we can't really see it as a whole because there's the various layers of the scaffolding in the way were too close. But nevertheless, some of the things to do with the design that I'd wanted to work, I think are going to be good.
Good. Can you just describe what we're looking at, please, Tom?
Well, the words looking at are central to the whole of this window. The whole thing is a meditation on seeing. So various passages from Scripture have been used to explore ways of seeing and thinking about seeing. And at the centre of the window, higher up, is the story of the Transfiguration. One can see from here the feet of Jesus and of Elijah and Moses. It's a story in the Bible where Jesus' friends who dozed off woke up to see him illuminated, transfigured by light, and in conversation with 2 long-dead prophets from the Old Testament.
And as we said at the top of the show, the unveiling of these windows is going to happen this weekend during Tis the Season and at a service on the 8th of December. And then the final dedication will happen on February the 9th. We look forward to the opportunity to give you a longer report about the whole of the East Window and its journey from start to finish in the new year.
Find us on Facebook at TisTalk Listeners and Fans.
Jerry Mason has news on the upcoming Tis the Season on the 7th of December. And that's followed by Alan, Marion Davis promoting the Nadder Community Energy Store that they will be manning at the Tis the Season and why you should make it your business to go and talk to them.
Tis the Season will be on Saturday the 7th of December, hopefully starting from 2 o'clock. It's going to be slightly different. We're going to have it as an afternoon-evening event. We will have the High Street closed and the square will be closed. We'll be having a whole range of market stalls, people selling clothes, cosmetics, Christmas events. There will be a lot of food and drink stalls for people to enjoy. We've got a whole range of stuff going on. We will also have some live music. We will have a Father Christmas. He's going to be, we hope, in the Sacred Heart Church reading rooms. We're not aiming to make a profit out of Tis the Season. If we have a surplus at the end of the day, that's great. And what we've agreed is that any surplus we will split 50-50. 50% will go to the Carnival Committee to organise next year's Carnival. The other 50% will retain for use to organise Tis the Season 2025, so we can make it even bigger and better.
So I'm with Alan, Marion Davis, and you've got a message to give out about Nadder Community Energy.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I really wanted to mention to people was that with Tis the Season coming on, there'll be a lot of stalls, and I just wanted to let people know that amongst those stalls up in the High Street there, Nadder Community Energy will be there in person. And the idea is that we just like people to come and have a chat, and they can talk about what sorts of energy they'd like to have produced in their home. Can they make some changes, for instance, to their own home and put in say a heat pump or solar panels or electric car charger, that sort of thing we can talk about. But, we can have nice arguments and chats about the good things and the bad things about energy and community energy in particular. I mean, Nadder Community Energy is just it's run by volunteers. It's completely non-commercial. It's part charity and part just providing energy. Mainly so far, solar panels on schools and community buildings and things like that. And we also raise money for various community projects. So we're very much a non-commercial outfit, and we're not trying to press any particular supplier or install or anything, but just give advice really and point people in the right direction. One other thing to mention, because it's that time of year when the weather's beginning to turn a bit cold, people need to think about keeping their homes warm, and that niggly draft. Can they do something about that, or that slightly mouldy bit of wall there, that cold spot in the corner of the room? Can they do anything about that? Well, Nadder Community Energy have got a scheme called Warmer at Home, and we're very happy to come to people's homes. There's two of us. We've been specially trained using a thermal camera to show up nice colour pictures of where the cold spots are in your home, because you may not be aware of those, and then just do something simple about that, some simple DIY fixings, or to give you advice on who else can help. Not commercial, just where you can go for more advice and ideas as to what could be done for that particular problem. So that's called Warmer at Home. So just check that out.
Fantastic. Well, that's really good to know.
One other thing, just to let you know, that the Tis the Season will be powered by electricity from an electric car battery.
That's great. And I think that was the case during the carnival too.
It was. So we're doing that again this time around too.
All organised by Nadder Community Energy.
Yeah, part of our community benefit programme.
That's very good. Okay, green future, here we come. Thank you very much.
And we end with Lau Pointer and the Watsons.
On Monday the 2nd of December, a coffee morning in support of Tisbury Swimming Pool will be at 10:30 to 12:30 and will take place in the Hinton Hall with a fundraising raffle. On Tuesday the 3rd, chair yoga in the Hinton Hall is organised by the Memory Group. This is free for participants and it is from 11:15 to 12:15. On Thursday the 5th of December, Witchmark Distillery are open for a tour and tasting. First of several 90-minute tours at this new whisky distillery in Fonthill Bishop. Entry is £15. Find them at witchmark.co.uk and sign up online. In the evening of the 5th, and also on Friday the 6th, a Christmas carol will be performed by Tag, taking place at 7:30 p.m. in the Victoria Hall. Prices and more information on this are on www.tisburyartsgroup.co.uk/what-s-on. Saturday the 7th, 'Tis the Season on Tisbury High Street from 2 to 7 p.m. with Santa's Grotto, live music, street market and food stalls. Look out for our TisTalk stall by the dentists. Come and say hello. Also during 'Tis the Season, the new east window in St John's Church will be revealed for the first time. On Saturday the 8th, the last chance to see Tag's A Christmas Carol. A matinee will be shown at 2:30 in the Victoria Hall. Looking ahead, there are lots of special Christmas shows, carol services and events in Tisbury and the Nadder Valley, including a Christmas get-together for the community at the Riverbarn at Fonthill Bishop on Friday the 13th of December with carols and a special visitor for the children. But if just getting out and enjoying nature is more your thing, Tisbury Footpath Club has 2 walks in December, one on Saturday the 14th of December and the other one will be on Monday the 30th of December after Christmas. Contact the walk's organiser, Roger Walker. text on 07891 442 664 or email him Jude, ROGUK@btinternet.com. Membership of the Footpath Club is just £1 a year. And that's all from me for 2024. We all wish you a very happy Christmas.
So that's the end of this season. So it's
Happy Christmas from me, Julianne.
And happy Christmas from me, Mary. And we'll see you in the new year.